sorry, Mr. Shit. Sorry.
Where's Ali?
How are you?
How are you?
Good. Frame point, even though you don't hear any sound in the room?
I'm emceeing, you said. When am I introducing Zoe? When am I introducing?
You don't have to. We're going to play off each other as one.
It'll be more this interaction like somebody comes.
You want it, guys? Do you want to start with the short 2-minute video? We're not going to watch it, but it'll be on.
Yeah, play it.
No, Joe sit. We're going to all sit up there now?
No, I would have. You don't see it.
When do you want to do that?
You guys. Jack, where'd he go? When do you want to show the 2-minute
When do you
video?
want to show Jack, or Ike? When do you want to show the 2-minute video? After who?
I want to show the 2-minute video.
After me.
Yeah.
Before Harry.
Right, exactly. I was going to have that.
Right or no?
Rabbi Sultan's not coming? When did you get?
Hi, Harry.
18 hours a day.
Okay, don't worry.
2 week trip.
Stop saying it.
No Mansour, and I was in no acquisitions.
By his area, they said it's
I'll get him.
He's not coming.
Where is he?
He's not going to get it till 9. Rabbi, Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, fellow community members, Jewish community members, and brothers and sisters from the United States and around the world that have called in tonight. Tonight's goal is somewhat a continuation for those of you that have participated in some of our earlier calls, but more so the goal and the start to give the full picture and the full breadth of the challenges and the achievements that we've led a group to go out and do for our brothers in Israel. We, the Jewish people of the world, not just the Jewish people of Israel, are going through what's probably our most challenging time we've seen in our lifetimes for the Jewish nation, and probably since the founding of the State of Israel. What's happening now in Israel in terms of the morale, the spirits of the people, the challenges going on, is existential, like it was in 1973. And the difference this time from then and 1973 is the challenges that we're going through in each of our homelands and each of our cities. For whatever reason, sadly, some of the sympathies that the Jewish nation got and the people of Israel got after the horrible, traumatic scenes that we saw only clips of 10 days ago, as it went virtual around the world, at first aroused sympathy, sadness, but sadly it also aroused some anti-Semitism. Why, I don't know. It's a very challenging thing the people of Israel went through, but it is what it is, and it's scary. And in times like this, we all have an obligation. The Jewish people, each and every one, we get trained to be good to our brothers and sisters that are Jewish and not Jewish. We're trained and taught from young, it doesn't matter what the person's race, creed, or background is, to be the people that give back. Well, right now, folks, while we're always about giving back to the whole world, right now, our goal is not to only give back to the whole world, but all of us to step up extra for our fellow brothers and sisters in Israel. What they're accomplishing, what they're dealing with is mind-boggling. Stop and think about it. They expected to get 320,000 reservists that they called up. They were hoping to get 270. Instead, they ended up calling a few more just in case, and they ended up getting a 30% higher return rate. So the magnitude of scale of supplying all of those people with the needs to come back in. And of course, the moral experiences of going on 1,400 funerals and shivas at the same time. If it was the United States in relative size, it would be like we had 49,000 funerals all at the same time. So we here at the Sephardic Heritage Museum Community War Project and Humanitarian War Project, our goal is to each of us chip in and do our part to help the Jewish people and the Jewish nation. It all started about 10 days ago with a young gal, Zoe and Joe, that reached out to their uncle and said, hey, you know, we were in Israel once, we live in the United States, we'd love to find a way to help. We want to find a way to give back. We're hearing so many challenging situations of what people are going through. And they reached out to the group of us that were involved with the Ukraine mission. Harry Ajmi, Mark Ajmi, Ralph Gindi, Sammy Saka, Jason Gindi, and so many folks that you will hear from tonight. And this group got together, joined forces, and more people ended up snowballing. And we went from a little group of just a few people to now today, I'd venture to say that we're probably off and on between fundraising and packing and supplying and logistics and helping people in Israel in the hundreds of volunteers on this mission. Our mission accomplishes a number of different areas. I won't go into the detail of it. You'll be hearing right from the folks on the front line more dealing with every day in terms of Isaac Masri, who I'll introduce you to, Zoe, who I'll introduce you to, and of course, our own famous and well-known Harry Ajmi that I'll introduce you to. But what we've chosen to take on is varied and deep and meaningful, each one in its own. First and foremost, which Isaac will go into great detail of, and Zoe, is supplies logistics. What they've created is really incredible. They started off Sunday night with a concept 10 days ago. By Tuesday night, they already had their first shipments of pallets last week going to Israel. By Thursday of last week, children were wearing clothing on their backs. They've taken on medical supplies, materials, dry food, you name it, they've taken it on to supply those needs. Second, trauma unit. All the people, the kids, the families, everybody that experienced that extremely challenging experience and situation, helping them with their needs, guidance, care. That group is led by Jeffrey Beta, who's done a wonderful job mobilizing to attack. Food. Stop and think of it. How many people already are challenged and in need of food because of certain challenges and circumstances of poverty and difficult circumstance? Now imagine thousands and thousands of people that suddenly are not living close to their home, not able to get to a supermarket, maybe don't have their mother around or their father around or the supporter around. So we've taken on as well the food kitchens to be able to supply the needs of those folks needing food. Relocation. We were the first force to mobilize immediately after the events of last weekend to mobilize buses and housing to be able to move people away from the border, the difficult situations, but not just to move people away from the border, but people that were challenged and experienced bloodshed like nobody's experienced in their lives to get them into another environment in the inlands. Evacuation, a major important thing for so many people that were there for vacations, etc., and wanted to just be home in the United States or elsewhere with their families. There, they were a little bit lost in schools, on vacations, etc. Anyway, I'll leave the great details to Isaac and to Harry and Zoe, the champions. But at the end of the day, the message is about supporting and money, which is the fuel to feed the engines so that all of this could happen. Please, through the program, don't be shy. As our fearless volunteer leader, Kim Daba, said, don't be shy, don't wait till the end of the presentation. Even in the middle, announce your pledges. Every dollar, you should know, is going to make it to the location that you want. Normally, you're lucky if you get 60 cents making it from every dollar you give. You'll hear from the folks here tonight, Harry and Alex, why every dollar you give is making it to the Hope Front to deal with these issues and these challenges. Anyway, thank you so much, folks. And if I can, I turn it over the floor to our very own Isaac Masri. Come on up, Isaac. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Joe. Come on up, Zoe. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Not sure which camera I should be looking at, but so as Joey started to touch on, last Saturday, of course, our worlds were rocked, and typically it's a day on the following day, Simchat Torah, is one of our favorite days of the year. But we couldn't wait for the day to end. We want the day to end because we wanted to get onto our phones and get to work. Our community is a community of prayer and a community of action. And so that night, Sunday night, right after the Yom Tov, 30 of us got onto a Zoom call and we said, what can we do? Let's mobilize. By Monday morning, I received a phone call from Joe. On the conference line with Zoe. For the first time I met her or heard her voice. And he said, you guys will be a team. She has an idea. We need you to help her to build the infrastructure and make it happen. I said, fine, whatever you need me to do, I'm happy to do. So we spoke, and Zoe said, I need a warehouse. I said, okay, I have a small space in one of my properties. Let's go there. We brought a team of her friends, and we went to the space, and they said they're going to bring in boxes of materials. I said, okay, I'm not sure how that's going to work. This is not a warehouse, but let's do it. We then went back to one of her friends' homes. We spent the next 12 hours there with a team of 5 or 6 people, and we started to get the word out to our community. And I can't begin to tell you that we hear it all the time, that there's no community like our community. There's absolutely no community like our community. By Monday afternoon, the space that I gave them for 18,000 square feet was packed. We had to be relocated. One of the community members said, please move into my warehouse. Monday night, Tuesday morning, we started to move the merchandise from my space into his warehouse. He gave us all of his people. He gave us his son. He gave us anything and everything that we needed. And the merchandise kept pouring in. Tens of thousands of garments, from leggings and thermals and socks and boots and everything else that we needed. By Tuesday night, we had 40 pallets on El Al's flight. We didn't believe that we could get this done, to tell you the truth. By Wednesday morning, we said, all right, I'm sure the goods are in Israel somewhere, but they're not going to get through customs. There's a war. Everybody told us their planes are stuck. Within an hour, 1 hour, Zoe, I don't know how she did it. Maybe she'll tell us tonight. But within 1 hour, she got us through customs, unpacked in our warehouse that afternoon, and by Thursday, if you look on the screen, you'll see some clothing that Charles Mizrahi had sent us. We circulated a picture of some SpongeBob t-shirts on some orphans. Their parents were just murdered, and they were wearing the clothing that he delivered us just 48 hours ago in New Jersey. Miraculous. So as time went by, the communities around the world heard about us. By the end of the week, we delivered over 240 pallets of merchandise to Israel. All got through customs, all got delivered to our soldiers and civilians. And they asked us for help. The IDF called us for help, for logistical support. Panama, Miami, Los Angeles, Long Island. Everybody was collecting goods. Everybody wanted to do good. We all wanted to. But Zoe and her team of 40 working in a warehouse.
At least. And that's only in this region. I have lots of people behind the scenes who I know are watching right now, who I sent the link to. And in Israel, a team of over 50 helping me continue. Lots of people helping me.
And so the word spread. It even spread in Israel to some famous people like Omer Adam. He contacted us on Friday and said, I heard you got goods into Israel. I'm delivering to soldiers. If you're on his Instagram, you could take a look at what he's delivering. He said, I need some raincoats. I need some thermals. Can I come to the warehouse and pick them up? We said, absolutely. He was sending them to the soldiers. So the word got out. By today, as you see up on the board, we've fulfilled over 16 flights, over 400 pallets of merchandise. And the list of merchandise has been a challenge for us because it's changing. On Sunday, they needed some medical supplies, but the whole world was sending them medical supplies. So we kind of backed off. We said, what do you need? They told us we might need some body bags. We were in touch with the CEO of Zaka. Every one of the top leadership at the IDF from, what's the name of that, the base where we have the 100 units of all the logistic people?
Rasap we have in Israel?
Yeah, explain that.
Okay. So if everyone's wondering how exactly we're allocating the goods in Israel, so I'll explain a little bit about that. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Renana. When the war broke out, my friends started, just like everybody else in Israel, just like everybody else in the States, got together and they tried to collect goods for their soldiers on the ground. So when I saw what my friends in Israel were doing and what the Syrian community in Israel was doing, I told them to get together, combine their soldiers on the ground through the head of the logistics of each unit, and we're gonna get together, my team, and we're gonna collect goods from community members. So our goods go from our community, they get on planes, they get picked up in a warehouse in Israel. through an organization called Yashar L'Chayal, and we have people picking them up and delivering them to all the Resapim, which is the head of the logistics of every unit in Israel. We're trying to collect as many as we can to reach as many soldiers as we can, along with a lot of civilians that we're working through as well. Keep donating, and my team is amazing here.
Yeah, so as we continue to fulfill our warehouse, or fill up our warehouse, and just so you know, all the merchandise we sent, the 400 pallets of the 16 airplanes, 3 more airplanes are actually going this week, were all donated, and they were all donated by our community. So we didn't spend any money sending this merchandise. It was just out of the sheer goodness of all of the members in the wholesale businesses throughout the community. We'll send out a list one day when we thank everyone. But hundreds and hundreds of thousands of units of merchandise. It's truly incredible. I also want to just take a pause, and again, because it's worth mentioning, the men and women of the community who were working they gave up their jobs. There's people that said, I'm taking time off instead of going on vacation this year. I told my boss I need 2 weeks leave of absence, and I'm working somewhere else. And they worked in the warehouse. And they weren't working 9 to 5. Our day started at 5 a.m., and she made me go on a Zoom at 1 a.m. on last Monday night. Most of my friends that are watching know I'm in bed usually at 7:30, and I'm in Brooklyn tonight at 8:30. So it's the commitment from this team is I just feel very blessed to be part of it. So as some of the
I want to say something about the donations. First of all, the community is amazing. We've been getting 16 flights worth of pallets to Israel through donations, but those donations are running out. So that's why we need to raise money, along with a lot of other beautiful initiatives going on here. But how many times could you amazing people donate? So first of all, if you already donated, you're welcome to donate more. As you see, it's getting to the right places. And 2, we need to raise money so we could get the right things to the right people on the ground. So that's just a little word about that.
Yeah, and because of the logistics, because we became this I guess, professional logistics company in just a few days, the word, as I mentioned, got out to many communities. It got out to many different groups. Like I said, even the IDF contacted us. But we were in Harry Ajmi's office last Tuesday, and there was an opportunity. We were having a meeting about this, and someone called us up and said there's a plane available, and it can take home 240 passengers, but we need to wire them $350,000 today. Now, at that time, we didn't raise any money for our projects yet, but the men around the table said, you know what, we'll lend the money, the $350,000. We had to wire it within an hour to secure this plane to get our students and community members home from Israel safely. We signed the contract, we wired the money, and the plane got home this past Friday with 240 of our students and community members. That doesn't happen if we weren't sitting in Harry's office that day. Another thing that happened, I was in this secure meeting with some people, and they said, you know, please help us with logistics, and anything you need, we'll help you with. And people started calling me. They started calling my brother to get on flights home. But then I got some phone calls from people that had 25 soldiers that needed to get to Israel. So I called this other contact. I said, look, I have 25 soldiers that need to get to Israel. He said, no problem. Tell them, I'll call them now. And he put them on a flight that night. No cost to us whatsoever. No cost to the soldiers, of course. That was just from a connection because of our notoriety within the logistics company that we have started on behalf of you and our community and all of us in Israel. So there's a lot happening. It's very fluid. We might not continue as a logistics company forever, but we have this team to pivot when we need to pivot. We need the money to be able to pivot when we need to pivot. There are areas that need rebuilding. There are orphans that need supplies and homes to get into. And I'll let Harry come up, explain a little bit more on some of the other initiatives that we're running. So thank you. God bless our community. May Hashem protect Israel. May Hashem bless you all. Am Yisrael Chai. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I just want my team to know that I have a list of your names here. And you know who you are, so I'm not going to even start with this because the list could go on and on between here and Israel. So thank you, and thank you, seriously, the best community in the world. Yeah?
I'd love to sit, but if you tell me to stand, I stand.
It's better.
Good evening, everybody. It's hard for me to speak tonight. I've been going back and forth, not feeling well. Alice could confirm that. A couple of nights over the last 10, 11 days, I didn't work well. I got home not feeling well, and it's obvious the reason. We've all taken in so much data, so many videos, so much information, so many WhatsApp. I don't personally have Instagram, but I was shown many things that were on Instagram. And it's been difficult for all of us. So I empathize with every one of you on how you must feel. Let's go back for a couple of minutes. Let's recount before I move us forward. 11 days ago, on Simchat Torah Shabbat, there was the worst security failure in the history of the state of Israel in the 70 years that they've been alive since they became a nation. Today, we won't know what led to those failures, but we do know movies will be made, books will be written, people will lose jobs and careers that they worked their whole lives for, when it's understood how God, yes, God, closed the eyes of the Israeli nation and they couldn't see what came at them at 6:30 in the morning on the 7th of October. As you all know, the death toll will rise to 1,500 innocent Jewish lives. 3,400 people were injured. 199 people, and that number is swaying up to 250, were stolen from their homes. They were taken away from the simple lives that they lived on these little kibbutzim and these little towns along the border of Gaza. These were the people that were most friendly to the Gazans. They were the most helpful. They were the ones when they crossed the border that they looked to first to get to the medical centers in Israel and the help that they needed. But you see what the ISIS in Gaza did. This is what we call Hamas, the terror organization that destroyed the Israeli civilians, and 292 IDF soldiers have been buried in the last 10, 11 days. We as a community are binding together. We have our rabbis to look to. We have our Torah that cannot be broken. We will get through this. Israel will get through this. But until then, they have to stand tall. They have a battle. And maybe there'll be another battle on the northern front, on the Lebanese border with Hezbollah, with Mashimum, Iran, pulling the strings, the Ayatollahs in Iran, to tell these people what to do and how to fight us. But Israel undoubtedly will prevail. The United States, as you all saw, is fully behind Israel. They have concerns about the citizens in Gaza, and the Israeli army and the government have taken that into consideration. So I got a call on Monday, because we celebrate, unlike Israel, on Sunday, our Simchat Torah. And it was Joey Sit, and I knew what he was calling about, because we had done a campaign just a year and a half ago to save lives in Ukraine. I'm proud to say that we never published a number. We went home when our job was done. But we moved 31,000 Jews, helpless people, out of the most war-torn cities in Ukraine that today are rubble. And those people were taken into other countries, Poland, Moldova, etc. And we executed, and we succeeded in our mission. We now formed a new group. It took us 4 or 5 days to get ourselves organized, while Ike and Zoe and the army of helpers were working on getting what you just heard, those hundreds and hundreds of pallets. They didn't tell you. Everything has to be manifested. Israel has to know everything that's coming in. All the permits have to be correct. You can't send batteries, you can't send food. And they got it right. And they've only just begun. The only difference about what they've done and what they're going to do is keep tweaking what it is that Israel is asking for, what it is that Israel needs. But we didn't stop there. We then recruited other people like Magalit and Jason Gindi, and they went to work. We just moved 150 families out of Sedorot on the border, the town that needs to be evacuated. Believe it or not, they are in Eilat, in a safe place. We took the hotel for a week, but everybody knows they are not going home after 1 week. So we need money. Jason comes to me today in my office, we work together, and said, Harry, I want to get them food. I said, there's food in Eilat. He says, no, I want to get them for Shabbat. 1,800 hot meals. I want it to be special. I said, we'll do it. We'll do it. I don't know a food kitchen that could build it and develop it and get us all the things they want. But I'm assuring every one of you that we will do it. And we will get them those hot meals this weekend. And we'll renew that hotel for a week or 2 more as needed. So, to give you a little bit of background so you understand how this organization, this mission to save Israel from what we see that we're capable of doing, is comprised of 11 board members and an executive board of 5 people. Those 5 people, and the reason we did that, we want to be able to be nimble. We want to be able to make the decisions as quickly as in the same hour, if not within the same day. So for all the decisions that they've had to make, they've done as a unit, as a group, they've all been agreeing. I believe that they will continue to execute making these decisions that we need to make as quickly as they come our way. I personally am getting 1 to 2 requests a day. I forward them to the committee. They look into it. They develop a plan to see if it's something that we can do. We have not sent helmets. We have not sent bulletproof vests. That's not what the mission was in my office last week. That's not what it was on Monday night in Joe Sitt's office. It was to do the things that we know we're good at. I have a very soft place in my heart for all of the people's families that have passed away, that have perished, and they have mothers and fathers and children. There are soldiers that have been buried. We need to look at helping their families. They need to rebuild. Yes, other people are going to do this also, but we're at the precipice. We're going to be first. We already have 50 families that we know we are going to be sending money before Shabbat to. We know their names. We know who they are. We know what family members they've lost. And we know that this money will go a long way, whether it be for food, whether it be for clothing, whether it be for other essentials, just to help them to rebuild their lives. We're looking at getting in touch with every one of the 292 families of the IDF soldiers that have been lost. We have a plan. We're developing it. What can we do for them? What is it that they need? How can we help them? We have currently people on the ground in Israel giving us back this information, this critical information, who the people are, what their needs are. So we're going to go beyond sending food, which we're doing, sending hot meals in the thousands, which we've done. This is just the beginning. I fear that the war that Israel has to face may go on for a protracted amount of time. We've raised to date $1.3 million, $1.4 million. We've spent half of that money. We've spent it well. We have a sign-off committee on every dollar. What I'm asking everybody that's listening to me tonight, what I'm asking everybody that's going to be told about what this organization is doing is to give us money. Trust us with your donations. Trust us with your pledges. I promise you, the money will go to the best use, every drop, every dollar. I don't know what tomorrow brings in addition to what I've said. I have probably left out things that we've already done. But to all of you, it's more about the trust. It's more about believing that you're putting your donations into the right hands and to being assured that we are going to get the millions of dollars that we need over the next week or two. We are going to spend that money wisely, and we are going to help every Israeli citizen, every IDF soldier that needs equipment and things that we've been sending, and now we're querying to send other important things. Zoe has a list. I looked at it last night. It changes every couple of days because we're not alone. There's people from all over the world helping. We know what we can do. We know what we want to do. The only thing left for us now is to get our community, all of us, young, old, men, and women. I'm asking you to band together for the crisis that's going on in Israel to get us as much money as you possibly can give us. Give me the ID.
It's on the site. It's on the site.
It's on, okay. I'm told it's on the site, on the screen. I'll repeat it.
SephardicIsraelAid.org.
SephardicIsraelAid.org. SephardicIsraelAid.org. That's where we want the money to go. We need another $2 million. That's the goal. That's what Ike's telling me could be gone by next Wednesday at the new rate of spending. The money that we had moved slowly initially because we had to build, we had to understand, we had to navigate, we had to feel what we were capable of doing and doing it well.
I just want to clarify one thing. When I spoke about that airplane, where we lent the money, the $350,000, that was just a loan. That was not a donation. That was not coming from anybody's funds. The passengers paid for their tickets, and the people who lent the money got paid back. So that was just something that we did as a side thing because we happened to be in Harry's office. So that, again, we didn't fly them.
I beg to differ. You're talking money and getting money back, which we haven't gotten yet, but that's not the point. If you talk to the families and you see the messages and the flowers that Alice got for the people that she helped, it's like you saved their families' lives. One family of 9, another family of 6, to land at 5:02 p.m. on Friday, to have people waiting at the airport to whisk them out through U.S. Customs, to get home for Shabbat to their families. This is not about who paid what. This was about an opportunity that we saw in my office that day. We signed that contract. We paid that money. The families, thank God, were able to give back most, if not all of the money, and that's good. But the point was that our heart reached out immediately knowing they couldn't go through Cyprus. They couldn't go through Greece. They don't know what these places are. Anybody that had gone before them, Mike, they got stuck. They had to make 3 stops. Some people went backwards to Dubai, 4 hours this way, 12, 15 hours that way. We got them home. That's the most important thing. We got them home. And we will get every single family the help that we're capable of giving them in Israel, because like my passion and like my broken heart and like the way I feel, you all feel the same way. And the only thing left is to raise the money, to get the funds needed. Rely on us. Trust us. Know that we are your shepherd. We are the ones that will help the flock, the Israeli people. And we're committed to it. And we won't stop until the war's over. And then it might even get more for us when that war ends. We don't know how many displaced families won't go back home. We don't know the people in Be'er. We don't know the people in Kfar Gaza. On the border, these families' homes were decimated. So that's what our pledge is. Gentlemen, I see you sitting on a beautiful couch here.
We're going to watch a quick video for
Let's go.
2 minutes, and then we'll continue.
I don't know how much more there is to say on the
There's not much
continuation,
more.
but
We'll close with Rabbi Ozeri.
we can close with Rabbi Ozeri.
The video.
Israel is our heart. We are all the parts of the body that work back to the heart and the brain.
Israel's crying out to us. It's our brothers, it's our families. If we're not there for them, who's there for them? Our community and the world must be there for them.
חבר'ה, הפלס"ר הגיעו ולוקחים תרמוסים וגם פליזים. תברכו מפי עליון, כל התורמים, תברכו.
תודה רבה לכם, לא מובן מאליו, כמו כל הדברים שאתם באמת מספרים לנו. עם ישראל חי! תודה רבה על התרומה הנהדרת, עשיתם לנו גם חם פיזית וגם חם בלב, מכל לוחמי הפלוגה והגדוד של 5037, תודה רבה!
But it's about to end.
Over, that's it? Where do you want me to go?
Introduce? What do you prefer, Rabbi? Please have a seat. So, have a seat. Want to introduce our Rabbi, Rabbi Ozeri. You've heard so many different depths of what we've been through in the last 10 days since we started this marathon experience to try to do what we can as our brothers and sisters are going through their challenges. For perspective, I want to introduce you to Rabbi Ozeri. Rabbi Ozeri, for those of you that don't know, in case somebody else that's not from our community, is a great community leader, rabbi, mentor, teacher, but he happens to, as a side give, help so many thousands and thousands of people in need. And he stepped up almost immediately, working together with us on the logistics of delivering food kitchens and warm meals and warm food to the most challenged areas, like Sderot and Ashkelon. But with that, I'll really leave it to the rabbi. Rabbi, if you can, share with us how you engaged with us, what your mission was, what you did, how it got to the people, so they have a full understanding that it went and touched and went all the way to the pockets it should get to.
When was that first meeting?
Yes. Was Tuesday morning a week ago.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I was invited to the initial meeting, emergency meeting for the war effort by the Sephardic Heritage Museum. It was up in Mark Adjry's office. I went up to the office and I just sat and listened to about a dozen people from our community, great people, and I was just blown away. I was blown away about what kind of effort they were going to attempt to put into this dire situation. And when it came my turn to speak, which I wasn't really looking forward to after hearing what they had to say and how much they were going to do, I said to them, gentlemen, I'm from a different school. You guys are unbelievable. I am blown away. I want to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a connection in Ashkelon, and I have a connection in Sderot. These are the two worst hit cities in Israel. Till today, it's 10 days later, they're still being bombarded by missiles. Many people died in these towns. A town like Sderot has 30,000 residents. Not anymore. I spoke to the mayor. There's approximately between 8 and 10,000 people left in Sderot, and they don't want to leave. They are elderly, they are sick, they are very poor, they are afraid to go out, afraid to venture. With the help of the Sephardic Heritage Museum and this unbelievable committee, we were able to get the warehouse open down south and get to these people over 30 tons of food. Yes, you heard right, 30 tons of food. We're talking about staples, milk, eggs, cheese, cereal, formula, and the rice, chicken, and all the likes, candy, baby food to these people. The third delivery, that was 2 deliveries. How is it no one wants to go into Sderot? The owner did not want to open the warehouse. Amazing young man by the name of Mordechai Elbaz, who has a lot of connections in Sderot. He got the mayor, they got the army, they got 7 soldiers in full gear to go down, open the warehouse, load a Mack truck, and take it down to Sderot under fire. And these people received food. They received bread for the first time 2 days ago. Some of them were crying. They have not seen a loaf of bread in 10 days. Not a loaf of bread in 10 days. They cannot believe it. And I want to tell you a beautiful statement that came out of one of the people. Because to the elderly, they delivered under fire. The young came to pick up at where they were distributing. One person sent us a letter, and he said, I am so thankful for this food, but more than being thankful, I'm so impressed that there's no differentiation between the religious or the irreligious or the poor or the rich. Everybody is welcome to come take. This is all part of the Sephardic Heritage Museum. Besides that, in Ashkelon, we have a Rabbi Zafrani who had to flee for his life. He's an activist for many years in Ashkelon. He had to flee for his life. Saturday morning, there were 3 terrorists coming up his walkway. By some miracle, the IDF was driving by in a Jeep. They got out and they tackled these terrorists. Tackled them, tied them up. He was scarred all night long, the rockets. Finally, he made it to Jerusalem in the morning with his wife and child. We have him working there. There are many, many people from Ashkelon that have fled. They have nothing besides the shirt on their back. Many of these people are husband and wife who both work. The wife is not receiving a paycheck now. The husband isn't receiving a paycheck, and they were living from hand to mouth. We have sent already over $200,000 to put $1,000 in each one of their pockets. $1,000 means I could buy diapers for my child. I could buy formula. I could buy some food wherever they are. And once again, I want to thank the Sephardic Museum for everything they've done. They have sent me a lot of money in the last week. A lot of money to tackle what we are doing. Again, tomorrow night there will be another delivery Sderot. In this delivery will be included halot for Shabbat, chali, grape juice, and all the delicacies, meat that they could cook for Shabbat, hamin. Once again, thank you Thank you all. Kol hamatzil nefesh echad b'Yisrael, whoever saves one life in the Jewish people, Ki'ilu hitzil olam maleh, it's as if you saved the entire world. Now imagine saving an entire nation. What kind of merit, what kind of zechut we have in God's eyes. The more we give, the more we are meriting ourselves. Thank you. Let's keep giving. And Bezat Hashem, may this be the end and the beginning of the Geulah with Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mhera b'yameinu. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Azeri. Thank you for everything that you're doing. We know we have you in our camp, but the better how that you give us, we know that we have you doing the work that you're doing, the holy work to help all the people of Israel, and we will continue to be partners with you now, after the war ends, Bezrat Hashem, to continue to make the world a better place and to support Israel.
What about you, Harry?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm here. Did I hear that Mark Ajmi wanted to come on? Yes, if there are a couple of questions that you'd like Joey or Isaac to answer before we hear from Mark and then close it up, we'll be happy to do that. We'll be happy to answer any questions that yes, you should read us the first one, and then they'll answer it.
Go back on that side.
Donated most of the merchandise. Where's the money going? If the community, you can repeat the question.
If the community donated merchandise from their business, where is the merchandise physically going?
No, where's the money going?
Oh, if they donate money.
No. I got the question.
Okay.
So the question is, people within the community donated the merchandise. So why do we need money if they donated the merchandise? That's the question. Yes, the cost to deliver that merchandise was simply very low. Not on?
Mine's on.
You want to say it? Okay, so I'll repeat. My mic was off. Sorry. So the question was, if all the merchandise that we've received to date was donated, then where's the money going? So on the logistics side of things, we sent out $5-6 million worth of merchandise, and to date we sent out about $150,000 to El Al for the freight costs. That was it. So that didn't require a lot of money. However, as the list, as Harry touched on, changes, and it does change daily, we have to start to buy merchandise. So when medical equipment was an initiative, then we have to jump on that, and we have to purchase it because people in our community don't make medical equipment. So that we have to purchase. When Zaka told us they needed body bags, same thing. We have to go out and we have to purchase.
Buses to relocate people.
And then of course, that's just the logistics. So the logistics side, we're spending a small amount of money for the amount of product that we're sending out. That will change. And like I said, when it changes, we're going to have the money to do it. The logistics team is set up, but the lists and the needs will change as time goes by.
Let me give one example. 2 days ago, we were going to buy 1 pallet's worth of tourniquets. That was $100,000 of 1 pallet. We didn't end up buying it. We're veering away from medical supplies, but trust me, I could spend a lot of money filling up planes with merchandise, lots of good merchandise, things that we don't make in the community, whether it be knee pads or headlamps, etc.
And then, of course, the other initiatives that both Joey, the Rabbi, and Harry touched on, the amount of money we need to give to families that are now adopting children, the relocation costs, the food, and the care for those.
Housing, the cost of housing for all those people, the cost to buy or rent buses to relocate them.
Put them in hotels, to pay for the food, the hotels, for as long as it's necessary.
Ready for another question from the
Ready for another question.
Okay, someone asks, we know that everyone is wonderful and trustworthy in this community running this organization.
Thank you.
Who's managing the money we send to Israel? Israel.
I didn't understand. In Israel to Israel.
Who's sending it to? Who are we sending the cash to? Who's managing the money?
Oh, the money.
On the other side, we've got a whole logistical system. The question was, how is the money or the materials monitored on the other side, on the receipt side? It depends. Each category has a different system. In case of, let's say, food kitchen and ward food, Rabbi Ozeri started to talk about it. Rabbi, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot to come back up and just talk about your system to make sure that when you give money for food, etc., that nobody's doing something dishonest.
Twice over.
We as you know, we are a, which camera? This one, that one.
Which camera are we?
As you know, we are a nonprofit organization. We are allowed to make donations to other nonprofit organizations, and even if they are not nonprofit, it is in our charter that as a congregation, we help the needy, the downtrodden, the indigent. Therefore, we are allowed to. We have rabbis in Israel who also have food distributions all year long on Passover, on Sukkot. So they are getting it. We have lists of people in these areas down south who need the food. We wire the money to them. They send me a list. I have it in my pocket. A list of what was purchased and how much it costed. We send them the money. After we send them the money, they release the food first. Then we send them the money. Once we send them the money, they are ready now to sell us again another truckload. This is how it works with the food. As far as putting money in people's pockets, these two rabbis with a bunch of other people knows who are the poorest people in each town. These are the people who are walking around penniless. They received $1,000 each, so they have pocket money to take care of their family.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. And then to just give examples on the other side, if we're going to procure buses to relocate people, take rooms, anything that we do is verified. We've got a great gal who's worked with us before in Ukraine, Margalit. Margalit is a full-time school teacher and part-time hero. And her role and responsibility, besides ferreting out opportunities to give, is the verification that the cash, it goes to the right place, no hanky-panky in between. If it's buses we're going to do, if it's room we're going to do, payment will go directly. There are no intermediaries with any of the ventures we're doing. And then last but not least, Zoe or Ike, could you guys talk about, on the receiving end, who's receiving the merchandise and making sure it gets to the right place, so that Ralph Gindy and Joey Gabay's Hurley Surf T-shirts get to the right place.
Back to be to the rabbi.
You're fine.
Am I here? Okay. So in Israel, we are working with a lot of different towns. Actually, we have a lot of different synagogues in a lot of different shuls in every town. For example, in Renana, we have one shul called Ohel Ari, which is the shul that I grew up going to. They came together with the Syrian shul in Renana, the community there, along with other shuls in Israel, in Renana. And they're working together to combine the top logistical person within the platoon. It's called a rasap. And they have them in a group together, and each time we have a shipment come, after our logistical team goes through each item and organizes it, they call them over and they distribute it within the different units. So we are actually not sending any money over to Israel on the logistical side. And yes.
Thank you so much, Zoe. That's the pleasures. By the way, shout out to some of our other board members, Morris Misri, Elliot Sutton, and of course, David Azar, who's been leading the fundraising effort. Thank you so much. Ralph, you, of course, gave a shout out to. And then, if you don't mind, three young leaders, Allie and Sarah and Jack. Why don't you guys come up for a minute? Come on up, quick, because we got to get to raising money. What? For donations in the meantime, again, visit SephardicIsraelAid.org. SephardicIsraelAid.org. Anyway, Jack, come on up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Ali and Sarah, want to thank you. You guys are leading the charge. If you can, just share for just a couple of minutes each short, like what you're doing, what you're experiencing, and what your thoughts are of what we're going through.
Put
Lady
the light
goes
on, maybe.
first. Sarah.
Little dark.
All right, Ali.
So as I'm sure you've heard from everyone that's
Too light, too
about
bright. Lower it a
everything that's
little
going
bit.
on within the organization, within the different branches that we're working on, I could speak specifically to the supplies and logistics side of it. It's been crazy. We have tons of volunteers that have literally not gone to work, including myself, for the past 10 days. It's just a lot going on. We don't have time to see our kids. We don't have time to do anything we want to do, but we're happy to do it. We're happy to give the time. We're happy to make the calls, to make the coordinations, to make the arrangements, to move things around, to connect dots. The one thing that we need more than ever right now is money, and I'll explain to you why. In the beginning, we started out by collecting product from people, whether they're in the community or not, as donations. They were gracious enough to not only donate their product, but to actually arrange for the logistics, the trucking, to get it to our facility, which was also donated to us for the time being by another person from the community to be able to use their facility. So until about 24 hours ago, we've been strictly sending stuff that we've been receiving through donations from a lot of generous people in our community and outside of our community. At this point, we're still doing that, but at this point, we are realizing that there's additional needs in product categories and product types that we have no connection to. We have no ability to get it as donation. We have maybe other Jewish suppliers that are interested in helping. Yeah, Joe and Zvi Ben Chaim, thank you so much for giving us your warehouse and your team and your time.
Hidayah.
Literally, this would not be able to be accomplished without a state-of-the-art facility that you guys were able to provide us. Happens to also be in a very perfect geographic location for all of the for all the logistic and all the goods that are coming in. So thank you for that.
Sarah, any word?
Wait, I just want to say one thing. So we are now sourcing from many suppliers around the country tons of different products that unfortunately we can't get donated. And now our costs for each shipment out are going from around, let's say on average, $20,000 per shipment just for the freight, is now going up to $100,000 or $200,000 per shipment, depending on the item that we're buying and sourcing and sending to them. It's extremely important that we get them these goods because they're really relying on us. You know, the network of army bases and units and soldiers that are relying on us in Israel to get us these items, whether it's hiking boots, whether it's headlamps, whether it's tourniquets, whether it's sleeping bags, whether it's jackets, thermals, socks, there's so many different things that we're collecting and we're trying to aggregate and send over to them. It's extremely important that for this alone we have your money.
Okay, I love Allie's voice, but I'm just going to take the mic. I just want to acknowledge something that we all didn't brush upon. Right now, we have 2 warehouses. We have one in Brooklyn and one that's Zvi and Joe Ben Chaim's in New Jersey. And we have from every community member, I'm talking mothers, I'm talking kids, I'm talking every school. I don't want to start naming them because I don't want to forget them. From Mag and David, Flatbush, I won't even start. Barakai, we go everywhere. You're right, I'm not going to go backwards. But I have kids coming from periods in school that they're taking off to come to us to package boxes, to count what's in each box, to label them, to then help me make the invoices, to put little cards on them that they put their own tzedakah, $1, 50 cents, they put in bags for these soldiers. We have the whole community, from Syrian to non-Syrian, the whole Am Yisrael is a unit right now, and everybody comes together and is giving every ounce that they have. From morning to night, we are working. There is no sleep on our team. Our team, I don't not want to do this, but we are up 24 hours, and it's serious. So please help us, and this is huge what we're doing.
All right, thank you. Our coordinated team here wants us to focus on funds. The coordinated team that actually hosted tonight, first of all, it's Mag and David Yeshiva. Thank you for hosting us. By the way, Mag and David themselves from the students has raised $160,000. Thank you, David Azar, who's pestering us in the back, Joe Mansour, Kim Daba, Betty Sitt, Linda Misri, all the folks that worked so hard for making tonight happen and making sure that we focus on our number one mission, which is to bring in the funding so these amazing volunteers could do their thing. Harry, some pledges.
Well,
Linda, do you want to say them, or can Harry do it?
I also want to again acknowledge
All right, Harry.
Zvi Ben Chaim, his son Joe Ben Chaim, Bobby Harari, Jerry Harari, their entire families. Without them, none of our logistics would happen. They were the ones behind the warehouse. They're the ones that gave us our support and anything that we needed. We all owe an enormous amount of hakarat tov and thanks to Harry and Stephen.
God bless them. Harry,
Yeah, let me wrap up.
please.
So I made an executive decision. I am not going to announce some of the names because, as I said before, we raised $1.3 million, $1.4 million. If I started to announce some and not others, it could be hurtful. So just trust me. That's what we raised so far. The bulk of that money has come in. We're spending it fluid. We're going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in the next few days on moving people from one location to a safe location. As I said about the 150 families that we moved out to a lot, we're going to keep paying the hotel bill. We're going to keep paying the food bills. We're going to keep buying out food and soup kitchens down south to send food and hot meals to anybody and everybody that needs them. Families, as Rabbi Zeri said, soldiers that we can get a hot meal to. It's endless what we are doing. We took a lot of your time tonight. We thank you on behalf of everybody in our community. We have to all continue to pray for Israel. We must all continue to give money to support this organization, the mission that we're on, the work that we're doing. We promise you, we will not leave a person behind that we know about. We will not leave a person hungry that we can find. We will not leave a person that wants to leave or needs to leave or being forced to leave their homes and not put them on the buses and get them to safe locations throughout the country until this dreadful war is over. God bless you all. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the effort.
And thank Joe Mansour and the team.
Thank you, Joe Mansour, and thank you, the team. Thank you, everybody, for the support that you're giving us. We will be back on. I hope tonight was meaningful to everybody. I hope it touched your hearts. I hope it made you understand the work that we're doing. We're doing it for you. We're doing it for the people in Israel. We're doing it so we all know that whatever we gave, nobody could ever say, we didn't have the chance and we missed the opportunity. We have the chance now and we're going to make good on the opportunity. So go ahead and give your credit cards and give your Venmos and give the money in any and every way that you can. If there are any large donations, contact any of the names of the people that I mentioned, including myself. We'll be happy to thank you personally for that. Thank you, everybody that started us off with this $1.3 million that's going to go to all the good things that we mentioned tonight and many more things that we don't know what's around the corner. God bless the state of Israel. God bless the people of Israel. God bless the IDF and all of its soldiers. Am Yisrael High. Win the war. Bring everybody back home. Bring us back to peace so we can go to Israel and enjoy with our families the beautiful country that they have built and they want to continue to make safe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Harry.
That's enough.
Thank you. Excuse me? The link, SephardicIsraelAid.org, SephardicIsraelAid.org, will remain open for funds. Thank you guys for making us be so lucky to be part of such a great community, the Jewish community of the world. Like we said, we're always about giving to everybody, Jewish and non-Jewish. This time, it's our own brothers that need the help. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Harry.